here's a factoring problem with some teeth in it. We want to factor completely 48x squared minus 243x to the 6th power. Now, the point here, we'll need to use difference of two squares, not just once, but twice. As usual, we start by factoring out a greatest common factor if we can. So here we'll note, considering powers of x, okay, we have x squared, x to the 6th power. We just use the lowest exponent, so I factor out an x squared. For the numbers, okay, we have 48, 243. Okay, we don't worry about the sign. I factor these a little bit, and we note 3 will be the largest number that divides both of them. So we'll factor out a 3 also. So our greatest common factor for this polynomial is 3x squared. You'll also note we usually write our polynomials with exponents in descending order. So I want to put a plus on this term here. So I'll also factor out a -1. Now remember the rule for factoring out a minus sign. Put our polynomial in parentheses, and then we change the sign on each term in the parentheses. So when I factor out a -3x squared, that leaves me with, okay, this term goes to 81x to the 4th power. This term goes to a -16. From here, okay, we ask, can we do any factoring of what's in the parentheses? Now, we don't have a middle term. I have a minus sign. So I can ask, is this a difference of two squares? We check each term. 81x to the 4th power is 9x squared, quantity squared. 16 is 4 squared. So we do in fact have a difference of two squares. Now, recalling the formula, if I have a squared minus b squared, we could factor this as a plus b times a minus b. So here we'll have a equal to 9x squared, b equal to 4. We put that through the formula. That gets us to this factorization here. Now, we go through each term here and ask, can we do any further factoring? For the 9x squared plus 4, okay, what do we note? There's no greatest common factor here to pull out. I have a and b positive. We're in the form ax squared plus b. So we know in this case that we have a prime, so I can't factor this any further. On the other hand, here I note there's no middle term. We have a minus sign. We check the ends if they're squares or not. This is 3x quantity squared. Here we have 2 squared. So we have our second difference of two squares. Okay, in this case, we have a equal to 3x, b equal to 2. We factor this part, okay, and that gets us to here. We go through each term, and then we note we can't factor any further. So here is our complete factorization. Now, we always check our work. Here, if I were to multiply this by this and then by this, not going to be very exciting. So as a check, we'll just multiply things out of order. So I'll start by multiplying the 9x squared plus 4 by 3x plus 2. We apply FOIL. What comes out is this polynomial here. Then I'll multiply that by 3x minus 2. We work that out. Okay, so first we multiply our polynomial on top by minus 2. We get this polynomial. Multiply by 3x, we get this polynomial on the bottom. When we add, okay, all the middle terms drop out, leaving us what we had before we factored out the greatest common factor. So that's good enough for a check.